All right. How about that? Is that better? Mana. Dee, 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 dee. That sounds good. We sound good today. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for popping on with us today. It's Friday, and this is a weird little live, right? But this is welcome, everybody, especially those of you who are friends and fans of scrapbook.com. We're so excited that you're here with us today. Scrapbook.com said, "Hey, Tiff, can you do a live and talk to all the friends and fans of scrapbook.com about your latest and greatest products?" And I was super excited to do that. You all know, those of you who are here via an invite from scrapbook.com, and those of you who are regular TT fans, that I love scrapbook.com. And if you're looking for TT products, they usually carry everything we've got. So it's a great resource to find your favorite TT products. If you're new to Totally Tiffany, if this is your first time being here with us, welcome. I'm going to go through our new products, and also this is your opportunity to ask specific questions about your needs. So there's a feed going on, whether you're watching on the Totally Tiffany channel, the Get Organized channel, or our YouTube channel. If you have a question, put in a bunch of question marks or type the word question in all caps. And Susie and Kimberly and I think Lynn are all monitoring those channels, and they will try to get those questions to me. We have a weird tech setup today, and there is a feed going on where I can kind of see some things, but I can't see that well because I don't have my glasses on and it's a little tiny font. But we will try to answer questions as we go along. So welcome. Get my dose of caffeine there. Okay, let's start with our latest and greatest product. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is the Faline Buddy Bag. This is the Faline Buddy Bag, and she was designed for, okay, so if you're new to buddy bags, sorry for those of you who are here and know all this stuff, you're going to get a little recap. So if you're new to buddy bags, if you're new to Totally Tiffany, I try to design products that are bigger, just bigger enough, I guess, to actually hold the thing that they're supposed to hold. So if I say that something's 6 by 6, you can pretty much guess it's going to be 7 by 7, right? I allow enough room so it's easy to put things in and get them out that are that exact size. So the Faline Buddy Bag, they're all clear. Buddy bags that are designed to hold more weight have this heavy plastic box on the inside. Lighter weight has a clear plastic box on the inside, so you'll see some of those today also. Faline is designed for 6 by 6. She has ear flaps on the side, which means that if you're storing something in there that's small, so she was designed for 6 by 6. She's a great 6 by 6 project manager also. So if you're putting smaller things in there, you've got the ear flaps on the side to keep everything closed up. Putting 6 by 6 paper pads, you can fold those ear flaps under and not worry about them. So a lot of versatility in that product. So 6 by 6, here's what she was designed to hold. Your 6 by 6 paper pads and our 6 by 6 tab divider pockets, right? So one of my goals is to design products that really work the way you craft, and so that it makes it easier for you to craft. So storing your paper and your scraps together using those tab divider pockets makes it really simple to get the highest and best use out of your products. But it also gives you this label tab, so you can really see what's in there. A lot of times we have things that are smaller or that don't necessarily need to be in a pocket. I always recommend the pockets because it brings everything up to the same level. All of your labels are the same level. If you drop smaller things down in between each section, then it's hard to know what's in there, right? So especially with like dies and stamps, which I'm going to talk about later. Okay, so the Faline Buddy Bag, great for 6 by 6 paper, tab divider pockets. It's got 4 inches across here. So I know the common question is with something like this, how many paper pads can I put in there? You got about 4 inches. So if you have 25 sheet cardstock versus 50 sheet cardstock or 50 sheet paper, that's going to depend how many sheets you have and how thick the paper is, but you got about 4 inches to work with in the Faline. She's also got this nice handle on the side. So when you store her on the shelf, it's easy to pull off the shelf and have access to your products. Faline is also then, you know, this always happens. We come out with new things. She's a great place to store your tri-blend markers, right? So tri-blend markers, look how many I've got in there. I think there's about 80 in there, if I remember correctly. Maybe 72. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, 72, I think, is the total in there because they're kind of staggered in there. So great for tri-blend markers or really tall markers. I haven't tried the chameleon markers in here. I think they're even a little taller than tri-blends, so they probably going to be a tight fit. So that is the Faline Buddy Bag, brand new. Next up is the Chastity Buddy Bag. Wait a minute, I see some things popping up here in the feed that might be questions. I'm going to see if I can. No. Okay, let's see. How many of the TT die kits are used on an average? I went through my dies and stamps and already filled 2 very large boxes. Oh, she's asking other user. Okay. Yeah. I just got my TT yesterday. La, 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 la. All right, I don't see anything. Susie's on it though.
Yeah,
she's,
that's not. No,
I know. But we have so many things going on here, right? Okay, the Chastity Buddy Bag. Okay, so first thing, again, for those of you who are new, when you get buddy bags, they come flat packed like this. They have the name of the bag on them. On the back of the packaging are assembly instructions and then all the other buddy bags. So this is a great sort of reference chart so you can see pictures of what they are. There's a little checkbox if you need to order that or get more information about it. So, but when you get them, it's going to come in this kind of packaging. With the Chastity, you are also going to find this sheet of stickers. It's hard to see in my weird camera light angle there. This sheet of stickers, this is for labeling your stamps. And then inside there are going to be 4, oh, that's not a box. There are 4 fold together plastic boxes, and then you're going to get this weird little piece of plastic. This is the base for your Chastity bag. So when you open up the bag and expand it out. So this is what makes buddy bags unique for those of you who are new. If I just sold you this plastic vinyl bag and you put things in it, it would just be kind of a mess of things all bouncing around in there. So the boxes that come with the buddy bags, inside the buddy bags, are really an important part of why they're different than other just vinyl bags on the market. So with all of our products, when you get your boxes that are coming flat pack, the first thing you want to do is fold on all the score lines, because that's going to give you the squarest possible shape to your box, right? So go ahead and fold all those score lines, fold your little tabs, and then putting them together is pretty easy. You're just going to pop the tabs into the notch and tab things. The tabs are angled. I'll fold it up, right? So when you put the tabs together, if you kind of put them in at an angle, it'll pop in much easier than trying to shove them straight in. So I can't really see here. I'm going to start that in there. You can see I've kind of got that angled in, and then I'm just going to push it through. So it makes it easier to get those notches, those tabs into the notch or into the slot, right? It's not very difficult anyway, but. So you're going to assemble all 4 of your boxes, and then you're going to pop them into your Chastity bag this way, hole on the top, right? And I'm going to show you why that is in a minute. Okay, another tip for new people. We make about 20 of these bags, and they all kind of look similar. So what I always recommend you do is take your scissor and just cut the name tag off of the bag, and then put it in the bottom of your bag so you will remember which name that is when you need another one. So I'm going to just set this aside for the moment, and I'm going to pull out.
Answer a couple quick questions?
Yeah, I'll answer some questions.
Okay, Petra Roswell wants to know, I forgot which buddy bag to use for Tim Holtz Oxide inks.
Oh, Petra wants to know which buddy bag to use for Tim Holtz Oxide inks. Conveniently, What a great question. It is the Chastity bag. That's the one that I'm just introducing you to right now. So this is the Chastity all loaded up. Here's another load of the Chastity bag, right? So you can see this is what those little stickers are for. Also notice it feels kind of like you're putting the boxes into the bag backward, right? Because the flap is on the other side. But if you put them this way, you lose the top color of ink. So put your boxes in what you feel like might be backward, and then you can see all the ink colors. So the little stickers that come with your Chastity bag go on the front of your ink pad, and then you can ink them up ink them up first and then stick them on the front of the ink pad, and then you will see the exact color of the ink, right? So try as they may, ink manufacturers have a hard time getting this color to be the exact color, but this little sticker is the way to get that exact color on there. And also you can see what color it is when they're stacked up. So I've got 6. You could probably cram a 7th ink pad in there. Let's see. But then you're not going to have any room to get your finger. Yeah, you could. Makes it a little bit harder to grab the finger hole, but you can get up to 7 Tim Holtz Oxide Distress inks in one of the little boxes in your Chastity buddy bag. So it makes it super simple to see everything, have access to it. You can store it in the buddy bag. You can transport it in the buddy bag. So the Chastity buddy bag is just a great way to get all of those ink pads organized and visible.
Wait, while you're on Chastity, Penny Estrada is asking, Chastity looks a lot like Stephanie. How are they different?
Okay. Penny is asking, Chastity looks a lot like Stephanie. How are they different? So let's think of Chastity as Stephanie's little sister. Here's Stephanie, right? So, and here's Chastity. So we'll put them end to end, and you can see Chastity's shorter and narrower. They both have 4 boxes. They both come with the label stickers, right? So you can see I've used the label stickers here. Stephanie is going to be perfect for oblong, oval, rectangle type ink. So a vast majority of what exists in the marketplace, what we're using. So this is the, I started coloring one of my tabs there and never finished it. This is, some of these aren't open yet, so they don't stack as well when they're not open. So these are all Spectrum Noir inks, which are the oval. So Catherine Pooler, also oval, is going to fit perfectly in the Stephanie bag. This one I've been working with for a while, so I've got labels on the end. I've also got labels on the top of the boxes, so regardless of what I need or how I'm looking at it, I can see how it's labeled, and I just did that with my label gun. But the same with this little stickers. So oval, oblong, rectangle, and even the new shimmer ink. So these are kind of a weird shape. And I learned something with the shimmer inks. When I was first setting this up, are these in there? So if you have these, yeah. So when I was first setting this up, I put the labels on the rounder part. So for those of you who don't know, these are like a giant teardrop kind of shape. Well, all the weight is at the front of these. So when I did that, and then I'm going to try not to actually do it, but when I pulled it out, there we go. When I pulled it out of the bag, because all the weight's at the very front of the box, the inks kind of dump out. So I thought, well, that's silly. I need to label the lightweight side of it. And then when I pull it out, it doesn't dump forward. Well, it does if you dump it, I guess. But so keep that in mind as you're labeling your ink pads.
That another question right there.
The weight, how they're going to go.
Carmen Morales Stillwagon wants to know, will the newer Close to My Heart ink pads fit in Stephanie?
I don't have any of the newer Close to My Heart. Well, I shouldn't say that. If by saying newer, you mean the, so Carmen's asking about Close to My Heart ink pads, will they fit in Stephanie? And she's asking about newer. If by newer you mean the magnetic ink pads, no, they're too big. if they're, and I may not know what the newest size is in close to my heart. So Carmen, who was asking that question, if you give me a quick measurement, I will verify for you. If they are the magnetic ink pads, however, they fit in the
Yes, the magnetic ink pad.
okay, yes, the magnetic ink pads. So they fit, sorry, you can't see me at the moment. The magnetic ink pads fit in the Barbara Buddy Bag. So also available at scrapbook.com. So you can find this there as well. So these are the magnetic ink pads, right, that she's talking about. You can put 10 of them in the Barbara Buddy Bag. Now you're looking at this and thinking, okay, that's great, but those are vertical and the manufacturer says to store them flat. One of the beautiful things about Buddy Bags is you can use it this way so you have easy access to those. Magnetic. And you can store it this way so that your inks stay flat. So keep that in mind. I mean, that's one of the great things about Buddy Bags is that versatility versus if you had them in some sort of different type of container, you might not have that flexibility. So access is easy when you're using it, and storage is within what the manufacturers are recommending because you can rotate them. So the Barbara Buddy Bag is a perfect solution for storing up to 10 of your close to my heart magnetic ink pads. I know somebody else out there is thinking, okay, that's great, but I don't use any of those either. I use Stampin' Up! Ink pads, which are bigger. What can you recommend for Stampin' Up? So while we're on the ink pad mission, there are 2 buddy bags that work for Stampin' Up! So this is the Sue Buddy Bag, perfect for Stampin' Up! I think there's 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. And these fit both of the most recent Stampin' Up! Design types. So there's this type and this type. So if you're Stampin' Up! People, you know what those are or how they work. This is a little bit smaller than this, but they both fit in the Sue Buddy Bag. Now, if you have a lot of Stampin' Up! Inks and you want to put more than 10 or 11 in a buddy bag, these also fit in the Leanne Buddy Bag. Let's see if I have an empty Leanne in my little stash here. Otherwise, I will pull up. So this is Leanne. She's a big girl, but she will also fit. I happen to have her loaded with gilding flakes, but I will show you how these fit there. So if you want to put a lot of ink pads together, and again, this allows you to store them. You can store them standing up, right, flat like this. And then when you're using them, you have access to them this way. And I'll kind of show you what happened here. I was traveling with these. My orange ink pad kind of, I don't know, it had a problem. I don't know exactly what happened, but when I went to open this, there was orange ink all inside of it. And so one of the other nice things about buddy bags is if you have an ink pad that leaks, it's all contained inside that buddy bag, and you can just wipe it out and clean it up really fast and really easy. So super simple solution for that as well. Okay, let me put those back. You got any more questions at the moment, Suze?
I do.
Okay.
Tanya Rogers, I guess, wants to know, do you have a master list of who of what fits where?
Yes, we do have a couple of master lists, and I think they're all available on scrapbook.com as well. If they aren't, we will get them. Maybe we could have scrapbook.com maybe even attach them to an email or something. I'll follow up on that. I don't have a pen, so to write things down with, usually I have it in my pocket with my measure. That's okay, Susie. Look, I have some pens. All right. These happen to be the brand new, I'm going to use pink, of course, the brand new Colorista dual tip markers. So if you've got those, this is the Terry Buddy Bag. So perfect way to store. And again, that question is, okay, Tiffany, you've got those standing up, and if you haven't seen Terry, she's one of the pen bags that rolls back so you can easily access your things. You've got those standing up, but my manufacturer says to store them flat. So all you're going to do is store it this way or this way when you store them, and now they're flat. So you can solve that issue as well. Okay, what was I going to write down though, Susie?
You're gonna
lists for. So we do have what we call product grids for all the different product groups. Fab files, buddy bags, slide stash and store. What else? What am I missing? But each of those grids give you the exact dimensions. So when I'm calling something 6x6 or 8x8, it's actually bigger than that, but holds that size thing. So the grids are going to give you what the actual dimensions are and then what fits best in each. And if we don't have those posted on scrapbook.com now, I'll work with the scrapbook.com team to get those posted so that you do have access to those things. Maybe we can get a blog post or something up on scrapbook.com as well to answer that. Okay, let's see. Got another question popping in here. How to organize planner stencils 5.5 by 8 1/4. Probably the best solution for planner stencils 5.5 by 8 1/4 going to be one of two things. So we have the Kirsten Buddy Bag, which is 9 by 6 and it has 9 by 6 pockets in it. And we also, no, did I say Kirsten? Yes. And we also have the Katie Buddy Bag, and the Katie Buddy Bag has pockets that are called 8 by 5. She is. This is Katie, right? So she's got 8 by 5 pockets. You're saying your planner stencils. I'm going to see if I actually have any in here. So these pockets are 8 by 5, but they're really, it's always a magic trick. 5 3/4 by 8. So your 8 by 5, if they're 8 1/4 tall, they're going to stick out a little bit. They're going to come all the way up to the top of the pocket. That measurement doesn't include the tab. So they're going to fit perfectly in there. Also, the 8 by 8 paper taker, which has 8 by 8 pockets, again, that are a little bit larger, is great for planner supplies. I don't actually have my planner in here at the moment, but this will actually hold the standard size Happy Planner, which is what I use, some pens, some stickers, and your stencils. And then, of course, there are pockets that fit in this as well. So depending on the planner that you're using, you're going to find a variety of different things. There's also the slimline storage, which has a 9 by 4 pocket. So the stencils would stick out a little bit of the top of it, but it's a longer and narrower box. But if you're trying to keep things together, I would look at the biggest size of what your planner things are and then choose a Totally Tiffany product that's going to fit the biggest size, because you can always use whichever pockets to hold your planner stencils as well. All right, Susie's got another question.
Okay, Susan Sheehy is asking, which bag is good for card blanks and bases?
Susan Sheehy wants to know which bag is good for card blanks and bases. Totally depends on what card size you use most often. So if we went with kind of probably the most common card size, which is 5 by 7, then any of our 5 by 7 products are going to work. So this is actually the Karen Buddy Bag. You can see I have her little name tag in the back. And I've got the 5 by 7 pockets in here. I don't think I have any card blanks, but I'm going to throw some in there for you. So I've got the 5 by 7 pockets in here, right? So I've got the pockets magnets so I can hold my dies. And then, of course, this has a set of stamps and then the coordinating dies with it. So Karen's a great place for kind of all those basic sizes. But if I go up here and try to reach in and find my biggest cards, so I've got bigger cards and envelopes, you can kind of see how those fit in there, right? So you got plenty of room for the 5 by 7s. Now, of course, we have the 5 by 7 fab file, which is also going to hold those things. If you like to work in the square card dimensions, 8 by 8 or 6 by 6, any of our 8 by 8 or 6 by 6 products are going to work for that. So whether you go with a fab file or a paper taker, those are going to be great ways to store the bigger square things as well. Kind of the classic size, the 5 by 7 pockets are in the Karen. Now, the Kirsten Buddy Bag is Karen's big sister. Sorry, I don't have a black one loaded up. I know this pink one is not available anywhere but right here, right now. But but we do, this is the 9x6 pocket. So if you have bigger dies and bigger stamps that you want to store together, right? Some of the bigger, so like this is the large size of the scrapbook.com stamp sets. The big scrapbook.com, like these guys, right? So there's a big pennant die from scrapbook.com also. You can see the magnet that's in there. I'll turn it this way because it's easier to see the black. The magnet that's in there doesn't have to cover all of the dies, right? Your goal with the magnet is to keep everything visible and accessible and flat so things don't drop to the bottom and get bent or get lost. But you can use the 5x7 magnet or the 8x5 magnet in the 9x6 pocket and keep everything nice and neat and organized. Again, this is kind of what I was talking about earlier, that if everything is in a pocket, right? Sometimes you have things, let me pull one out of here that, so this is a big a big stamp sheet. I could just put it in the pocket, but as soon as it goes in between something else, now it's lost, right? There's no tab. So I'm not going to be able to find it in there. So this is one of the, I mean, there's a lot of reasons to use the pockets. They make it easy to pull things in and out. Things don't get hung up on each other. You keep everything flat. You prevent damage. But one of the most important things for me is being able to find exactly what I need when I need it. And if it's stuffed in between something rather than in a pocket, I'm not going to see because there's no label and the labels aren't all the same height. So, but with the 9x6, here's what I was getting to. If you have bigger things, you can use the 9x6 or the Karen, the 5x7. So, and this is how the two different vary in size, right? The 9x6, the Kirsten Buddy Bag is one of our biggest girls. I have her in black. This is, look at that. What's all my, like all the different tapes and adhesives that I've got. I've got my pop dots in the back. So they're going to work for a variety of different things.
Ready for another one?
I'm ready for another one. Bring it.
Karen Kilpatrick wants to know which bag is good for a large collection of embossing folders.
Which bag is good for a large collection of embossing folders? Again, totally depending on the size. Well, I haven't even talked about the new storage and supply cases yet. Woo-woo. Totally depends on the size. So if you have lots of square embossing folders, excuse me, lots of square embossing folders, or if you're just talking about 4x6 embossing folders, it's going to vary. I would go with the biggest size that you've got and then choose the bag that fits the biggest, because of course the smaller ones are going to fit in there with no problem. So maybe the Kirsten, if you've got really big ones, the Karen bag is going to hold all the 4x6s and down from there. So it just kind of depends on your size. I like as much as you can to get things vertically so that it's easier to file through rather than dig down. So keep that in mind. You want to be able to stand them up and file through them. So I've got, kind of as an example, this is not a bag. This is the desk made die stamp and supply organizer, but all of my embossing folders and my stencils are standing up. So it's easy for me to flip through and find exactly, what I want to use by just kind of thumbing through those things. I also have them all cataloged by number. I am going to be teaching a Get Organized challenge, I think starting in March, and we will go, if you have tons of dies and stamps and embossing folders and punches and all that stuff, and it's hard to keep track of them, we will be talking about how to organize them and catalog them for the best use of those things during the Get Organized challenge, which will start in March. Okay.
That's all I got for right now.
Okay. Buddy bag to store embossing powder. Depends on the type of embossing powder, but that is a good lead in to the storage and supply cases. So how much embossing powder do you have and what size is it are kind of the big questions. So kind of the standard size embossing powder is going to fit perfectly in the Edna Buddy bag. I'm going to talk about these real quick. So these are the newest, I think, release in the Totally Tiffany line. These are the 12x12 storage and supply cases, right? There are 3 different designs. This one has 6 drawers. This one has 2 drawers. This one has 4 drawers. They are similar to our smaller version storage and supply cases in that the drawers, you can use them flat and the drawers pull in and out, right? So when you get them, the flaps on the top seem a little bit kind of weird and wonky the way they close, but that's because we want you to be able to fold those flaps back, anchor that down, and then be able to pull the drawers in and out. Do I have it upside down? I do have it upside down. It's hard to pull the drawers out when you, right? To be able to pull the drawers in and out. You'll find that with the 4 drawer and the smaller 6 drawers, that there are these little locking tabs on each of the drawers. And once you lock them together, when you pull on the front drawer, the back drawer will follow it right out of the bag. So you've got the 3 of those. They're all the same basic dimension. They have a label pocket on the side. No, they have a label pocket on the side. It's big. I don't know why it took me so long to come up with this. Hey, the bigger the pocket, the better, especially as we get older. Bigger font is better. And then they've got a label pocket here as well. They will fit in your IKEA Kallax or Expedit storage system. It's a tight squeeze, but they all fit in there. Okay, so this is a big distraction from what fits embossing powder, right? Oh. So in this one, this is the 6 drawer, and I have got it loaded up here. I've got my heat tool, and these 2 trays are full of embossing powder. And then I've got a variety of other things, blending brushes, my gilding flake. So just kind of a mix of different things. I like to put anything that I have, paint, embossing powder, whatever it is, in upside down so I can actually see the color. So that's what I've got going on in there. If you need something smaller for embossing powders, then I would definitely look at the Edna Buddy bag, which is also going to fit this size embossing powder as well as the smaller, skinnier size of embossing powder. So this is the 6 drawer. This is the 2 drawer all loaded up. Now, I was talking earlier about the different sizes of products. So these are 6 by 6 paper pads, but they're actually 6 1/4 by 6. So you can double stack them in here in the 2 drawer. You've got things like rulers, paintbrushes, knitting needles, all those long kind of skinny things are going to fit in here as well in the 2 drawer. And then this is the 4 drawer. My arms are not quite long enough. So this paper pad, this brand is actually just 6 by 6, exactly. So it fits inside the 4 drawer section on it. But things like punches, paints, foils, or rolls of foil, they're all going to fit into your 12 by 12 storage and supply cases. And these, like I said, these are our newest product. Now you can stack them on top of each other and open them up and pull the drawers out depending on how heavy they are. So 2, possibly 3 can stack, and then you can create the little drawer system like I've got right here. So this is the smaller storage and supply case, the 6 drawer. You can, but because these are wider, you can't stack them as high as you might be able to stack those the smaller version of the storage and supply case.
Are you ready for that one?
I'm ready.
Will you carry locking tabs for the original bags?
Will you carry locking tabs for the original bags? I think that question is about the, let me see here. That's a 2 drawer. That's not. So the original storage and supply cases. So this is a 4 drawer. The original. So these are smaller. These are exterior dimensions like 9 by 11. The drawers are a little bit smaller. And that question, I'm going to pull these out here a second. These drawers did not have the built-in locking tab. The new, as we release new product runs of these, we will add the locking tabs to them. But you can solve that locking problem with just something simple like a binder clip. So I just took 2 smaller binder clips and clipped them onto this. And now I've created that same functionality as having the locking tabs built into the boxes. So if you have the originals, I'm sorry I didn't think about that functionality before. Sometimes that happens, right? I get things and then I start working with them. And then I go, oh, this would be so much better if, and then we're able to make those changes in future product runs. But so the original 4-drawer. So this size, you can hear, I'll give you the size difference, be easier for me to reach this one. So 9 by 11 and the 12 by 12, you can just kind of see what those different sizes are. So different functionality, depending on what type of products that you're using. For the 9 by 11, the smaller, and then the larger one as well. They both have handles on the top, handles on the side. The smaller ones come in 5. They come in a 2-drawer, a 4-drawer, a 6-drawer, and an 8-drawer. The 2, 4, and 6 are all the same depth. The trays or the drawers are interchangeable. You can mix and match them. The 8-drawer is more designed around mini ink pads. I've got one right here. So it's a lot narrower. You can't mix and match the drawers, but it's a great way to store all of your different mini inks or chalks. You can see I've just got a huge variety of brands of mini inks in here, and they all fit really, really well. Super simple way to keep those things contained.
All right, we have Kelly Ray. Kelly wants to know, wants to know if the CM border maker will fit in the 12 by 12 2-drawer bag.
Will the CM border maker fit in the 12 by 12 2-drawer bag? I don't know. I'm trying to remember. I don't know if Barb Carlson or Terry Wiegand is on with us this morning. Terry would know for sure. I know it fits in the Leanne buddy bag. I'm pretty sure that's what Terry uses to store hers. I don't have one. I should get one of those. The Leanne buddy bag is kind of a big beefy gal, so she'll hold heavier duty things. I think she's 13 inches on the interior. No, 12 inches on the interior. So if your border maker, it's in like 4 by 4. I think it's this one. Hopefully Terry will pop on. I also know if you go to the Get Organized with Totally Tiffany Facebook page and search that, there are several people who have posted up how they're storing that. So please check the Get Organized page, and then you can get that again at scrapbook.com as well. So whichever.
So Wendy Lycan Hefner wants to know what you keep epoxy / bling in.
Wendy wants to know what I keep epoxy / bling in. I use a scrap rack for all of that kind of thing. It's the perfect way to store things by color category or by theme, holiday, event. If you're unfamiliar with the scrap rack, I will definitely well, there's a great video actually on scrapbook.com about the scrap rack, and they do carry all the components for that. So I love the scrap rack. If I was going to store them in something like a buddy bag, again, it's going to depend on the size, but most likely it's going to be, if we're talking about the smaller cards, I would say the Katja buddy bag might be a good option. So this is Katja. She's got 4 individual smaller containers, and you can, so if this was, let's see, something that's about that size of a bling card or a bling package, something like that, those are going to fit in each component. You're going to have a little file cabinet basically of those smaller cards. Without knowing the exact size of the type or style of bling that you've got or embellishments that you've got, it's hard to know. If they're bigger than what's going to fit in Katja, then I would look at the Leanne buddy bag or the Sue buddy bag. So this is a Sue. Again, sorry, it's the pink one rather than the black one. I know those aren't available, but the same bag is available in black. And so this is a 4 by 6. These are all different Project Life cards, right? And I have the 4 by 6s separating out the 3 by 4s in each of those collections. But if your cards, your bling is about that size, you might be able to also use the Sue Buddy bag to organize. Also, you know, that Karen Buddy bag is really, well, actually, I do have some things in the Karen, some blingy things, I think. Let me look. Let's pull her back. Come on back, Karen. So, yes. So these are, right, this is all like Christmas, so Christmas stickers and embellishments, right? So I've got them all just in the pockets again. Again, easy to see because of the labels and easy to find exactly what you're looking for because of the label tabs, and also a good way to protect things once they're open. So your, you know, different dimensional things, if they're just kind of loose, they're not, it's easy to kind of get them to come off their adhesive backing or whatever if things get hung up and bent. But, you know, stickers, those are background cards, but stickers, embellishments, that type of thing. The Leanne might be the Karen with the 5x7 pockets might be a great solution for all of that. And, you know, one of the great things about the pockets is they're reusable. So it makes it easy. Once they're empty, you can refill them with something else or keep them stashed. And then as you need to bring them back, it's easy. They will literally last you a lifetime. No one has ever said to me that they wore out their tab divider pockets. I don't think it's possible. Maybe if you ran over it with your car, you might be able to create a problem.
Carol wants to know if you're going to be on HSN Craft Day.
Carol's asking about HSN Craft Day, which is Tuesday. And yes, I will be on 2 times, 6 a.m. and 7 p.m. on HSN Craft Day.
That's all I got.
Okay, so what will hold the Crafter's Companion mini guillotine cutter? If you have not yet seen the Slide Stash and Store collection, you definitely want to get on scrapbook.com and check this out. This is, so the Slide Stash and Store come in 6 sizes. This is a number 4. So there's my mini guillotine cutter right there, right? It's perfect. And this is a 4. Is that what I said? Yeah. Perfect in the number 4. One of the things I love, huh? Oh yeah, I got to give Susie. I'm going to give some to Susie. I forgot. One of the things I love about Slide Stash and Store is that it takes products like this, things that are difficult to store because they're not flat or they have sharp edges or all of those reasons that you can't store them, and it makes them flat, basically. I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So let's see. This one's bumpy. So this is a number 3 Slide Stash and Store. So the numbers represent different sizes, right? Different widths and then different heights back to front. So they go 1 through 3, 1 through 6, smallest to largest. But now, so if I was trying to store this bumpy thing and this bumpy thing together, it's kind of a mess, right? They don't slide past each other. They might get buried. My pennant punch board has this little piece that is designed to stay in, but you know, it doesn't always stay in. Well, now I've got this and this together, and this is what I mean by they're flat. So I can slide them off and on the shelf really, really easily. And this one, not so much, but things like your punch boards, you can, in fact, put multiple things in each one. So I'm just going to go over here. So this holds both my square punch board, which is pretty heavy and bulky, and my mini cinch, right? They fit perfectly in there. Now I've got them stored. I've got them labeled on the front. So it's really easy for me to take it off and on the shelf, in and out of the cupboard, cabinet, whatever I want to do. Slide Stash and Store is, I mean, you can see everything here is in a different size Slide Stash and Store. If you're new to TT, one of my sort of pet peeves is I want to be able to get to whatever I have easily with one hand. I want to be able to pull it off and on the shelf, bring it to my workspace with one hand whenever possible. It's not always possible, but you'll notice, you may have noticed, anything that you've asked me about storing in my craft supply collection, I can just get it. I don't have to go anywhere. Everything is as vertical as it can be, because vertical means you can pull it right off the shelf. My biggest tip to you is to avoid stacking things where you have to take all the things off the top to get to the thing on the bottom, because you're less likely to do it. My sort of philosophy is, if it's easy, it gets used and done and put away. And if it's hard, I'm not even going to use it, right? I'm going to go for something that's easy. So the vertical storage, the slide stash and store, and again, they come in a variety of sizes. So here's a bunch of paints, right? I just pulled 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20 bottles of paint off the shelf, basically with one hand. And now they're right on my workspace. I can work right out of this tray. And then when I'm done, I can just pop them right back onto the shelf, keep everything organized, neat and tidy. But it comes on and off the shelf, in and out of my tote bag, just simply. So think that way when you're thinking about your room and making it as user-friendly as possible. You want to choose storage and organizer items that make it easy to take it off and easy to put it back. All right.
Got a quick one for you.
All right.
Sue Raines wants to know, how many embossing powders did you get in a tray in the 6-drawer bag?
How many embossing powders can you get in a tray in the 6-drawer bag? That's this one. 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 8 in each tray, so 16 in 16 together. Now, I talked about this, but I guess I didn't show it. So these are the middle 3 sections for this bag. You can mix and match the bags. I mean, the drawers in these. So if you think you need a lot, if you want to fill one of these with your heat tool and more drawers, get a second one and you can mix and match. You can take all the 6 drawers and fill them into one bag, and then you'll have your other bag will have 2 sets of this in it. So all of the 12 by 12s are mix and matchable drawer configuration wise. You really can tailor those to be exactly what you need them to be for the supplies that you've got and how you're trying to travel. All right. I've got a question from Kimberly. Do the 12 by 12 SASC storage and supply cases fit in the calyx? Yes, they do. So they're going to slide in. They're snug, but they do fit. That was one of the design concepts, was we want to be able to get those into the calyx or the expedite, and they do fit into both of those. When I say they're snug, the drawers fit fine. It's just you can see this, like the trim kind of overhangs the edges a little bit. So when you push it in, it's going to push that trim up. But they fit fine. It's just like a snug slide in, or this way as well.
All right. Lori is asking, what do you use to label? My labels won't stick to the slide stash and store.
What do you use to label? I use a Brother Touch, IP Touch, I think it's called. It isn't so much, I buy the inexpensive label tape for the Brother IP on Amazon, and they stick fine, right? I mean, so I don't know. It's like the cheapest one they have on Amazon. So it has something to do with the adhesive, possibly, but also when it comes to labeling and adhesives, one thing to keep in mind is that the humidity, the lack of humidity, the temperature, and the dust in your environment are all going to affect how things stick to other things. So that may be, it may just be that you're using good label tape and it's got a different kind of adhesive on it versus the inexpensive one. Too much heat, too much humidity, not enough heat, not enough humidity, whatever it is, might all work. I will just remind everyone, for those of you who have very nice penmanship, which I do not, that you can write directly onto your slide stash and store with a Sharpie. And then when you want to change what's in there, just a little bit of rubbing alcohol will clean that Sharpie right off your slide stash and store or any of the plastic products that we make. So if you like your penmanship, you can also just write directly on there. I know some people have also used their Cricut to cut labels, right? Kind of cute or fancy labels. I also wonder, now that I'm saying that, so this is a label that I made. So this is just a piece of repositionable vinyl, right? This for your Cricut. I wonder, we're going to test it out right now. So if you're new, I do a thing every Tuesday that's like this. It's just your opportunity to come to join me on Tuesday morning and ask your questions and then solve problems. So this is normally what happens here. So this, looks good. So this is just a piece of repositionable vinyl. It is probably, I don't know what brand it is, but I always buy the least expensive brand. Sorry. And I just wrote on it with a Sharpie, and I could add some color also, and you could cut them to exactly the size that you want. But it looks like that is sticking pretty well also to the front of this Slide Station Store. I'm going to leave it on there and see if it peels off after a while. Again, it's always, but here's another, right? This is my button press, right? We all love the We Are tools, but you got to keep all of these little pieces together. So I have the machine and all the basic pieces for it. I did take the handle off so it wouldn't stick out the top, but the handle just screws on anyway. But everything's right there. So if I want to do something with my button press, I've got all the pieces in one place. So it just makes it so simple. All right, but we're label testing with that vinyl label. We'll see how that works. That might be a good solution for you if your label maker stickers aren't sticking. Is there a buddy bag the size of Katja with one container instead of 4? Not the exact size, but the Leanne is a little bit bigger. And I was asked on YouTube this morning if, so this is the number 6 Slide Stash and Store. So again, I know I already said this earlier, but I'm always talking about everything getting vertical. I lost my train of thought there for a minute. Someone called this or asked on YouTube this morning, could you fit the Leanne in the number 6? And if so, how many? And you can put 3 Leannes in your in a Slide Stash and Store. And the reason, so why do I like that, putting them in a Slide Stash and Store or any of them, which you saw, you know, I pulled those out. Now I've taken these bags, which normally I would be laying down or stacking on top of or lining up, so I still had to dig through, and I put them all in one Slide Stash and Store, and I can pull it out and get to those things really easily, right? So the Leanne is going to fit in your number 6. There's my printmaker. We talk about all the things we love about American crafts and all those little tools that we've accumulated, and they all fit great and store well in buddy bags. So that's Leanne with big, heavy punches inside. So I would look, if you want something bigger or about the size of Katja with no dividers, then I would go with the Leanne buddy bag. She's a little bit bigger, but not a lot bigger. Kelly is asking, the bottoms of my Slide Stash and Store don't stay flat. They bump up. Any tips? Yes. So earlier when I was talking about putting any of the plastic things that we make together, fold on those score lines. So I'll pull out another one of these boxes. So whether it's a Slide Stash in the Store or a box like this that's going in a buddy bag, the important thing is getting everything to square up, right? And so really folding those edges on the score lines before you start assembling things helps to square up those boxes regardless of the type of box. I should do one. I'm going to do one without really folding the things. So when you fold them without really doing much folding on the score lines, they end up a little bit rounded, which it sounds like that might be part of your issue. The other thing is about the Slide Stash and Store, is that once you get some weight in them, they are going to, I don't know if I can even do this now. I'm so used to folding everything. What I need to do is put on some glasses. Put that in sideways, just like you told everyone else to do. The slide stash and store, because the way the bottom is made. So let me tell you why the bottom is made that way, so you understand sort of the whole thing. The bottom is made, you can't put it in the tab without putting in the, all right, I'm admitting it. There they are. All right, I've got the glasses. So if you don't fold, see how that's all kind of wonky? The other one I put together wonky, that I folded. Term, right? Wonky is an official term. So when you square it up, and after you put it together, you can even do a little bit of this to get those boxes into a more square shape versus when it, so one, see how this one doesn't versus that, right? So once fold on those score lines and that'll give you a squarer finish to your box. Okay. It's going to be easy to pull this out of. Okay. So the slide stash and store have this different sort of bottom that folds in. The reason the bottom folds in like that is because it gives a lot of strength to the bottom, and it allowed us to create these little feet. So the box will sit pretty flat to start with, right? But once you get some weight into them, that even flattens out the bottom even more. So you may need to put some more or load them up, and then that will help flatten out the bottom, and that will give the feet that stability that they need to kind of hold everything nice and neat and flat. Of course, the smaller ones that you're putting lighter weight things in, this is kind of heavy, that's a punch board. So this is a good example right here. So you can see kind of the bottom there is how it's kind of tilted up. There's just not enough weight in there to hold that down. I mean, it works fine. Like that's all different kinds of thread, right? So you're not going to get this flat unless you're putting something heavy in there, maybe something like a punch or whatever that's going to weight that down. And then once it warms up, the plastic warms up in your room and you've got that weight, that's going to flatten that out as well. So it doesn't really make a difference for this type of thing. But if that's kind of the concern that you're talking about, put enough weight in there to flatten it out. And then once that plastic gets warm, it'll shape into that shape. But right out of the bag, they're a little more, yeah, you just need to get some weight in there and it'll flatten out the bottom of the smaller ones. The bigger ones flatten out much easier because they just don't have as much crossover in the bottom.
All right, Wendy Hefner wants to know, what bag do you have the ribbon in that you just pulled out of the number 6?
Oh, ribbon in the number 6. This is the, well, Edna or Merle are going to fit. So this is Merle and this is Edna. I always make a mess. If you are someone who joins me for Tuesday Live, you're used to this, how the craziness of it. So Edna has no ear flaps. So she is great for things like ribbon. And you can see, right, perfectly. I got some little guys in there too. Merle and Edna are exactly the same size and shape, except that Merle has ear flaps, right? I'm not using them right now because I don't need them for the ribbon. It's not going to come out of the bag at all. But if I had smaller things in here, like sewing supplies where you're looking at things like scissors and seam turners and seam rippers and all kind of the small narrow stuff, then I would close those ear flaps. So when I stood her up, little things couldn't get out the end of the bag. So Merle or Edna both work exactly the same for ribbon storage. And I don't think, do I have any? I'm going to pull out that other, oh no, this one, there's an open ribbon here. One of the fun things about storing your ribbon in your Edna or Merle bag is that you can also use it as a dispenser. So once you start using that ribbon, if you just leave a little thread of it out between the Velcro, you can grab that and pull it so that you can cut off exactly what you need without making a big mess. And because there's no spool running through the ribbon, when one of them is empty, you can just pull it out and pop another one in there. You don't have to take every spool. You know, if you have everything on a spool to get it to spin, then you have to take everything off the spool to replace things. But everything will spin here with no spool needed. So it's a great way to store ribbon, etc. All right. Good buddy bag for small, clear stamps. Probably the Karen. And when you say small, clear stamps, I'm kind of imagining like the little 2x3s, and then you could put 2 or 3 sets of them in a pocket in the Karen. If you want to just have those small, clear stamps, and maybe they're all on acetate and they're all the same size, like this, right? So these are all on acetate. They're all the same size, which means when I put my labels on them, I can see all the labels equally. So if you're thinking of something like that, and I think these are probably all scrapbook.com. I have lots and lots of scrapbook.com stamps. These are probably going to fit nicely. This is going to be too big. So this is the fun thing that happens every Tuesday. It's like a challenge, right? What is going to fit? And the other beautiful thing about it is that people can also add their own comments. Like if you found a bag that worked really well to answer this question on Tuesdays today, like today, you can post your answer. So I'll put that outside the box. So those are going to fit inside the box pretty nicely. They just come right to the top, and then you could use a shut your flap tab, which is our plastic sticky note, to label the top of those so you could see what they were, whereas mine are labeled by number in my bin, but it would be easy to label them that way as well. So Katya would be a good choice. If you're going to lay them on their side, then probably Edna would be good. Well, let's see if I have an empty Edna down here somewhere in my secret stash of buddy bags. I don't see one, but I know this one is almost empty. So this has some other embossing colors in it. This is actually Merle because she has the ear flaps, but you would have to go this way, right? And add, oh, okay. I think Irene. Yeah, I think Irene is the one. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling Irene. Okay. That has too many things in it. I know I have an Irene up here. Just a couple things. Look at me. I've got every fun little toy that yeah, I bet it's Irene. So if you're looking at, the stamp sets that you're trying to store are this size, then Irene looks like the perfect girl for that. This is my heart-shaped pom-pom maker, right? So, but when you talk about buddy bags, this is a great place to store things like this as well, because these are all pokey and weird, and if they're just floating around or in your drawer, you know they're going to get hung up on something, and that's going to be annoying. So go with Irene for stamps, and keep in mind you might find a buddy bag that's a perfect match for your small tools as well. All right, Suze.
Karen Kilpatrick wants to know any plans for other organizers for Kiwi Lane templates besides the pockets and boxes that are currently offered.
Karen is looking for a different storage solution for Kiwi Lane other than the current pockets and box system that we offer for Kiwi Lane. Personally, I love scrap rack pages in one of our 12x12 binders for Kiwi Lane. So the different sizes and shapes of the Kiwi Lane stencils, especially the bigger ones. So they used to only do small ones, and now they do bigger ones. They all fit in scrap rack pages, and that will all fit in one of our 12x12 binders, whether you go with the canvas binder, which is a little bit more heavy duty and has tool storage and that type of thing, or the plastic zipper binder. It's the perfect solution for organizing your Kiwi Lane. I think that if you search my YouTube channel, I think there's probably even a video about that as well. So there's 2 options. I'm a binder girl. I love being able to flip through and see everything and all the little pockets, you know, that's kind of my favorite thing. So, all right.
Let's see. Deanna Schneider Thompson wants to know anything new coming on HSN.
We're doing buddy bags on HSN, so not new. That's the question. We do have a couple of new releases coming up. I don't know if I can sneak peek those out or not. So Kimberly's on. So Burley, if you think I could sneak peek some things, you let me know and I'll do it before the end of the show. Otherwise, we'll do another show with scrapbook.com later when those come out. Okay, Amy says, I've been watching for 10 minutes and I'm super excited. I'm new to Totally Tiffany. I'm loving all the options. Welcome, Amy. I'm so glad that you found us. I'm so glad that you're here. You're probably a scrapbook.com fan, and they carry all the Totally Tiffany stuff. So I'm glad you were able to join us today. We really and thank you. I mean, this is a super fun brand to work with. We really work very hard to make sure we're offering solutions that work with all different kinds of crafters, right? I keep in mind when I'm designing, some people always only craft at home in a craft room. Some people travel around their house. Some people travel across the country. And how are these tools and products going to work? So I'm glad that you joined us today. And please know you can pop in any Tuesday live as you learn more and more and have questions. And we do this every Tuesday. Well, not every Tuesday because we're not doing it next Tuesday because they'll be at Home Shopping Network. But usually on Tuesday mornings, we have an hour or so that's just a Q&A like this to help people find the right products.
Back to the Kiwi Lane, Karen is saying any new pages specifically made for them coming.
For Kiwi Lane. We haven't designed, so she's asking if you put your Kiwi Lane templates in a binder, do we have any new pages that are for Kiwi Lane? We do not, but I'm pretty sure there are pages, pocket pages that fit all of the Kiwi Lane things very, very well. Like there's, you know, 4x6, 6x6, 5x7, full pages. And of course, you can always add an 8.5 by 11 page. I know they do have a couple of weird, they're not quite 12 by 12 templates. So you can always put in an 8.5 by 11 page protector into the binder with your Scrap Rack Totally Tiffany pages. They're all going to fit together with no problem.
All right, and let's see. Laura Russell wants to know, will Faline be on HSN?
Faline will not be on HSN. So if you are interested in Faline, you need to pick her up at scrapbook.com. And then Kimberly says I'm not allowed to sneak peek anything yet, but I will. So you stick with her. The next time we do a scrapbook.com Q&A like today, keep your ears open. We'll sneak it out there for you. And then how do you store Crafter's Companion craft boxes? So I'm assuming that question is about the kits that come out every month. They have different things in them. I don't have them. I have the Bernard craft boxes. So one of the things I advocate always is that rather than trying to take something like this, a craft box, and break it all up, right, and sort, I'm really a huge fan of two things. One, keeping it as easy as possible. And two, I mean, to find things, keep it as easy. And two, keep things together you use together. So when you get a craft kit, it usually has that insert sheet that says all the things that are in there, right? So all I do is add a label, add a label and a description on the outside of the box. And then I'll either take the exact sheet that came in the kit or I'll photocopy it and I keep those. So if this kit is all Halloween, I'm going to photocopy the insert sheet and I'm going to put it in my Halloween section of my scrap rack. So when I'm working on Halloween, I flip to the Halloween section and in there I've got buttons, brads, beads, bows, stickers, you know, embellishments, all the things for Halloween. I'm also going to see that insert sheet from the kit and it's going to remind me, hey, you have that kit. And then I'm going to be able to go to the shelf and pull it off because it's labeled and use the items in that kit. So I'm a bigger fan of doing things like that where it makes it simple to remember and find what you've got. And then of course you can see I've got mine all stored vertically, right? I mean, how many times have I said it already? If you've got your boxes stacked up, don't do that. Turn them on their side, get them vertical like a library, and then create a notebook of all those insert sheets so you can flip through it, you know, organize it by theme, holiday, event. I'm going to be doing a new Get Organized Challenge in March. If you haven't done the Get Organized Challenge, I would really recommend it. It gives you a way to think about your craft, supplies, and space together, and how all those pieces work together, like how you store things should relate to what type of crafter you are, how easy it is to get them off the shelf or get them in your tote bag, all of those things. And we talk a lot about that in the Get Organized Challenge. It is not the GOC for short. If you don't know anything about it, it is not. It's an 8-week class every Tuesday for 8 weeks. It is not 8 weeks of sales pitch. It is 8 weeks of how to organize your supplies. Of course, I want you to use all my products, but you can take the class and use whatever products you want. There's no requirement, and it's totally free. So you'll see some more information coming out about that, but feel free to jump in and join us for that. How do you store 49th and Market bases? I don't know what that is. I know what 49th and Market is, but I don't know what a 49th and Market base is. I'm going to put Susie on that right now. If you can do a quick scan of and Susie has very fast fingers for internet stuff.
And what am I searching?
49th and Market, and it says bases. It might be card base, maybe, if that's it. So yeah, if you're asking a question and you have any sort of dimensions available and you can include that, that's always really helpful. I try to stay up on all the different brands and all the different sizes of things, but there's so many, it's hard to sort of keep all that stuff alive.
49th and Market foundations, envelopes.
Oh, 49th and Market foundations. Maybe that's the same thing as a base.
Lots of different ones.
So it sounds like if 49th and Market, if their foundations or bases are kind of all the standard sizes, again, I would say here's one of the biggest challenges. If you always only craft at home and you have a craft room where things always stay where they are, then there's going to be different products that are recommended versus somebody who travels with their supplies, right? So this is, again, die stamp and supply organizer, and it has square card blanks and big cards and tiny envelopes, and they're all kind of color coordinated, and it makes it really easy for me to grab a card base or grab an envelope. It stays open and accessible all the time. So this type of product works great if you are someone who always only crafts at home, because you don't have to worry about taking your supplies anywhere, just grabbing them. They're visual, they're accessible, all of those kind of things. If you want to travel, it sounds like probably a good option for you is going to be a fab file, which we haven't even talked about today, or a paper taker, which we also didn't really talk about today. So this is a 6x6 paper taker. Paper takers come in 5x7, 6x6, 8x8, 12x12, and A4 8.5 by 11. So it's a great place to, again, store cards and card blanks, and it'll hold the squares if you're using 6x6 or 8x8. So just depending on what your favorite size is. And of course, we have the slimline storage as well. So if you love slimline stamps, dies, creating those slimline cards, the slimline storage system, which is also available at scrapbook.com, is a great way to store all of those in that size or dimension also. So I hope that answers your question. If you give me a specific size that you're concerned about, then I'm happy to point to specific things, but I would go with the biggest thing and then fill down.
All right, I got another one for you. Is there a way to test, oops, come back, where'd it go?
Uh-oh.
Is there a way to test if a scrap rack would work for me? Can I buy a single binder and some pages to see if it's for me?
So she's asking, I'm sorry, I tried to remember you probably can't hear Susie because my mic is small. If I want to test the scrap rack, is there a way to do that? Can I buy pages and a binder to get started? Absolutely. One of the things about the Scrap Rack product line is that all the components work together. So if you start with a binder and pages, and I don't know if you can reach it, Susie. Oh, it's right here. Hang on, everybody. Ugh.
Got it?
Yeah. So this is the binder that I've been talking about when I say the plastic zipper binder. Woo! My room on wheels. Super simple. And this one is just loaded up with embellishments, actually, right? So I'll try and fold this back a little bit. So I've got all the different pages in here loaded with flower embellishments. There's some bling in there as well, right? One of the things about using a binder when you're first starting is that it does give you, I thought I saw a page fold over in here when I was in the camera. It does give you, you get that sense of how would a scrap rack work for me, right? You get your pages all loaded up. And then when you decide, yes, I want to go with the scrap rack, then you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can take that binder out of the binder that you've got, and you can put it right on your scrap rack, right? So everything works together. And then if you're going to travel with just this section, then you can pull it off and put it back in the binder, and then you can travel with it. So they really work sort of, scrap rack components all work together. They work the way that we craft, sometimes at home, sometimes on the road. So imagine if this was all of your travel supplies and embellishments in your scrap rack, and you were going to go somewhere and work on a travel scrapbook album or make bon voyage cards or whatever. You could grab that whole travel section, put it in here, and get out the door with it. You don't have to spend any time like digging bits and pieces. This is one of the biggest benefits of the scrap rack, digging bits and pieces from all over your room and packing them up. And then when you get home, you got to put them all away, as opposed to I'm grabbing my travel section, I'm taking it with me, I'm out the door. When I get home, I take it out of the binder and put it back on my scrap rack. I'm ready to go again. So it really simplifies that whole process of organizing. Not to mention the fact that it makes it so simple to just, if you're going to sit down and craft and you're going to work on travel, you flip to your travel section in your scrap rack and everything you need is right there. It's easy to take out. It's easy to put away, right? You don't have to remember. Biggest benefit of the scrap rack, you do not have to remember what you've got because everything you have for that theme, sentiment, color is all grouped together in one place. So yes, start with the binder. We call that easing in to the scrap rack system because you can, once you get the binder, if you do decide to get a scrap rack, it's all going to work together. So you're not, one thing isn't a waste getting ready to do the other. They are going to combine together. You got anything else, Susie?
No, I don't.
All right, let's see what Kimberly has, but I think we're probably pretty close to the end of our hour or beyond.
Yeah.
Susie's like, yeah, you're past your hour.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody. So brand new, quick recap. Brand new, you're going to have the Faline Buddy Bag available at scrapbook.com now. You're going to have the, so 6x6, it's going to hold your 6x6 papers, scraps, projects, all of those things. The Chastity Buddy Bag. Now, one more reminder, when you get your, I'm going to make a mess here. Cut the name off the bottom of the package and put it in your bag so that you remember who's who. I'm such a messy girl here. Faline, Chastity, and then, of course, the 3 new storage and supply cases. So that are the 12 by 12. So you've got the 6 drawer, which I just am making a mess with over here. I'll pop these back in. The 6 drawer, the 2 drawer, and the 4 drawer, all of them the same. Carry handles on the top, pull handle on the side, label pocket here, label pocket on the top. Again, available in those 3 sizes, and they do fit in your IKEA Kallax or your Expedit. Woo! Boy, well, I think we answered a lot of questions today. Thanks so much for joining me. Today is my pleasure to be talking with all of you at scrapbook.com, which you know is one of my favorite places to visit in Arizona. I mean, I live in Arizona, but when I get to go there, it's a lovely, lovely place to visit. I love it. Love the people, love the team there. So really excited to be part of that crew today. If you have other questions, remember you can always join me on Tuesday morning to ask those questions. And and then go back to scrapbook.com and find what you need. But I'm always here for you Tuesday to help you make the best choices in your organization and storage products. I think that's it, right? We're wrapping it up. Thanks everybody for being with us. I will see lots of you, not this Tuesday because I'll be at HSN, but the following Tuesday. Join the Tuesday tribe and come and learn more about how to get and stay organized with me. I'm Totally Tiffany. Bye-bye, everybody.